Hello everyone, it's Melanie here with Vintage Hill Studio. Thank you for joining me today. You know how excited I get about my repurpose projects. Well, today I'm using a McCalls pattern and I'm going to create these wonderful bookmarks. So two of my favorite things, repurposing items and bookmarks. Can you go wrong? I think not. I've got some of these wonderful patterns thanks to my favorite sister-in-law, Lisa. She found these at an estate sale for me, and I am going to put them to good use and preserve these wonderful patterns. So I'm just taking a rough measurement because usually my bookmarks are 2 inches wide by 6 inches long. This will be a little bit longer because, as you can tell, I want to repurpose that wonderful strip of these three ladies in their beautiful attire. So I don't want to waste any of this. I am going to use the flap that says McCalls with the number on it, and I'm also going to use the wonderful art on the cover of this beautiful pattern. So this is a Cutterpillar Pro paper trimmer. You can see it has a little light bar that runs right along the roller's edge, the trimmer's edge there, so I can see very clearly through the pattern of where I need to cut, so I don't cut away too much or too little. Love that little light bar there. And by the way, the Cutterpillar Pro is a self-sharpening paper trimmer. I got this at a scrapbook convention. I love it. It sharpens itself every time you use the rotary blade. So just an FYI, if you're looking for a good paper trimmer, the Cutterpillar Pro. All right, now this flap is roughly the correct size. I'm just going to trim it up a bit. You can see as the paper gets more brittle as these things age, it's really tough to not, kind of tear the paper as you're working with it. Rather than these going into the trash, I really enjoy repurposing them into something useful like this bookmark. So I'm about ready to move on here. I've just cut a little piece of black cardstock for some stability because the paper on the patterns is so thin that you need to stabilize it with something to make a, substantial bookmark. So I'm just going to adhere this on each side of that black cardstock. I like to use a little mat here. This is actually a silicone mat that's for a microwave. I found it at a big box store. It works perfectly when using a tape runner. You can see I can run right over the edges and it is not going to get on my work surface so that my paper sticks to that. So a little tip there, use a silicone mat wherever you may find them, at a craft store or at a big box store, it doesn't matter, and it will make your life so much simpler. There's something to be said to protecting your work surface from glue or adhesives, and that silicone mat is your magic tool. Okay, another one of my favorites, the Scotch Laminator. Now I'm using these laminating sheets, but of course you can see they're way too big, and I really don't want to waste the whole sheet with just one bookmark. Normally I would do several bookmarks at a time, but for this video I just want to keep it simple and show you how I do one bookmark, so I'm going to trim this out, leaving some excess around all four sides of my bookmark because you want this to seal when you run it through your laminator. So you've got to leave those borders. All right, this is the Scotch Laminator. I just pressed the on button. It takes about 4 to 5 minutes to thoroughly warm up, and when it's ready, that little blue light at the bottom will come on to tell you that your laminator is ready and ready for business. So it's really a no-no to cut that sheet, but again, I didn't want to waste it. When you get ready to run it through your laminator, you want to make sure the end that goes in first is where it is sealed already in the packaging. In other words, there is a hinged end and then 3 open sides to each laminating sheet. You want to put that hinged end first to start your laminating. And then let the machine do its job. Don't pull on the bookmark. And again, I'll bring over my Cutterpillar Pro and clean these edges up, making sure that I don't cut through where it has sealed. You don't want to cut the seal. And then I run them through again just for good measure, going from, kind of going from side to side, and I can feel with my finger if that seal has connected. So that's what I do just by running it through one more time, making sure it's sealed around all four edges. And that is my wonderful bookmark. Isn't this a great way to preserve the art of patterns? I am just so happy that these were not thrown away. Because what's the likelihood that anybody's going to be making or reusing these patterns for clothing? Probably not too likely. So I love to repurpose them for my fellow lovers of books. Now, how about repurposing the pattern tissue too? That's where the pattern is actually printed on these pages, and I got this idea from a fellow crafter named Rusty Wanderer, and I love it, to repurpose this for gift packaging. So I hope you love this too. I am so glad you dropped by today. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to leave me a comment, a thumbs up, and I hope to have you as a subscriber. Enjoy your crafting, and I hope to see you next week. Happy crafting, everyone!